Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome to Bulletproof Business. This is James P. Friel. I am glad that you guys are here, and I wanted to share something with you guys today about big, hairy, audacious goals and why they're actually holding you back. I know everybody talks about, well, you got to shoot for the moon, right? And there is a certain element of truth to setting big, hairy, audacious goals, but there's also some stuff that's causing them to hold you back, and that's what I want to get into today. And the reason this is on my mind is because right now, goal setting is so incredibly important. But most people are setting goals in a way that's going to cause them to actually not achieve the goals. And I was having a conversation with somebody earlier today, and she was telling me about the big goals that she has for business, and they're awesome. And I think she was actually kind of dialed in. But we had this conversation, and I said to her, "Do you know what a big, hairy, audacious goal is?" And she's like, "Yeah, I've heard of that," right? And most of us as entrepreneurs have heard of big, hairy, audacious goals, right? I think it became popularized by a book written by Jim Collins, Good to Great, which is actually a really awesome book. But have you ever heard something and you didn't hear the whole thing, and so you didn't know how to apply it? Well, I think that's what's happened with these big, hairy, audacious goals. And so the premise of a big, hairy, audacious goal is that you need something so big, so, so hairy, so audacious that it actually scares you a little bit. And that's supposed to be the thing that helps you actually get what you want. And so here's the story that I usually share when it comes to big, hairy, audacious goals. Imagine that you're back in 1960. And John F. Kennedy is the president, and he's standing there in front of the nation giving a rousing speech about how we're going to go to the moon. We're going to put a man on the moon. And everyone's like, yes, let's do it. Let's beat the Russians. Let's get to the moon and all of this. And he says, okay, we're going to put a man on the moon, and we're going to do it in the next 30 days. Everybody be like, what? What? How are we going to put a man on the moon in 30 days? And he's like, that's our big, hairy, audacious goal. It scares the hell out of me. Let's put a man on the moon in 30 days. And everyone would just kind of be like, all right, John F. Kennedy has lost his mind. He's a little bit nuts. And I don't think there's any way that we're going to get a man on the moon in the next 30 days. But that's not what he did, is it? He said, we're going to put a man on the moon by the end of the decade. Okay. And sure enough, 1969, we finally had put a man on the moon, unless you're a conspiracy theorist and you don't think we actually did it. But for argument's sake, let's say that it did happen in 1969. The thing with big, hairy, audacious goals is that they should be aspirational and visionary and saying this is the big vision that we have for ourselves, for our life, for our company, whatever it happens to be. But research has actually shown in time frames of 3 years or less, big, hairy, audacious goals have a counterproductive effect on our ability to actually achieve the goal. And the reason is this: when you have a goal that's so big and you're not sure how we're going to achieve it, you actually start distancing yourself from the goal, right? It's like it's too big. It becomes overwhelming. It feels complicated. You're just like, oh, yeah, that sounds good. That sounds like what I really want, but I don't know how I'm going to do it. And if it's 3 years or less, you start to not believe in the goal. And the worst thing that you can do for a goal is to not believe that you can actually do it, right? Most of us have goals, even though we don't call them goals, that we do each and every single day. I have a goal to wake up and brush my teeth, right? I believe that that's totally possible, and that's probably why it gets done all of the time, right? If I woke up and I said, okay, today I'm going to climb Mount Everest, and if I've never done any training to climb Mount Everest, I'm not a mountain climber or anything like that, what are the odds of that actually happening? And so there's a really important factor in the believability of your goals. And I would much rather have you guys set goals one at a time that you believe in, you believe that you can accomplish, you have the confidence that you can do, as opposed to setting this crazy, big, hairy, audacious goal and scaring yourself into actually doing nothing and retreating. because I would rather make a consistent, steady progress forward than to just stay where I am, or even worse, run away from my goal because it's so scary. So big, hairy, audacious goals can be helpful in terms of where do we want to go in the long-term future, right? And I think that's probably the time and place to use them. They're directional. They're visionary. They're helping us understand like the context of the future that we're trying to paint for ourselves. But in periods of 3 years or closer, they become counterproductive. And so the better way to set your goals is to say, okay, even if I have a big, hairy, audacious goal out in the future, that's not the thing that I'm going to focus on now. The thing that I'm going to focus on now is what can I do in the short and medium term that helps me make progress on the path to that vision of the future, to that big, hairy, audacious goal. What can I do today? Because the problem is when we let what we can do today, what we can't get done today stop us, that becomes the surest way to get friction, to get resistance, to not be able to move forward. And so figure out what is reasonable, what is believable that you can accomplish in the next 7 days, in the next 30 days, in the next 60 days. And if you can't fathom that, then just bring back the time. What is reasonable that I can accomplish in the next day, in the next hour, right? And one of the fastest ways to get out of any kind of overwhelm, and that really is the fundamental problem that the big, hairy, audacious goal creates, is it creates overwhelm. Big, hairy, and audacious. And you're like, oh my God, how am I going to deal with this? One of the fastest ways to get out of overwhelm is to break things down into smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller pieces until you have confidence that you can do this thing. And once you're able to do this thing, put the next thing there. And you're able to do that, put the next thing there. And we all learn and grow as human beings by putting one foot in front of the next. And so that's the right way to set goals, not to scare the living hell out of you and say, if I don't do this, bad things are going to happen. If I don't do this, I feel like I failed. If I don't do this, like it's over, right? We need things that are going to build our confidence, because confidence is what creates the winning attitude, and the winning attitude is what helps you to consistently win over and over and over again. So, in summary, big, hairy, audacious goals, kind of a cool concept, grossly misused, misunderstood, and are scaring way too many people out there. Use them for what they're valuable for, as a milestone way, way, way out into the future to say, that's where I'd really like to go. That's where I'd like to be in 10 years. As far as goals, be practical. What do I believe that I can achieve now? What can I get done in the short term? And hit that, and then hit the next one. And hit that, and then hit the next one. Many people have told me that this is like a game-changing concept, because I think a lot of people are afraid to set goals because they're afraid that they won't hit them. And if you're afraid of your goals, you're not going to hit them. So set goals that you believe in, and I promise you, your probability of achieving your goals, once you set them because you're setting something you believe in, you're actually going to get it done. And so that's what I want to share with you guys today. Hope you're awesome. If you'd like some more goal-setting strategies for you, for your team, how to manage this for an organization, I invite you guys to check out my Managing Like a Boss program. You can go to jamespfriel.com/managing. We talk about how to create a winning culture, how to properly set goals for an organization, how to manage your team to accomplish those goals, and how to make sure you're winning consistently. So go to jamespfriel.com/managing. Love to hear your comments on this live. What big, hairy, audacious goals do you guys have? But what are the goals that you're going to focus on right now to help make sure that you actually achieve them? Hashtag live if you've been here with me live. Hashtag replay if you're watching this on the replay. I'm James P. Friel, and I will talk to you guys later.